All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm just trying to stream to 3 different places right now. This is the first time I've tried this. So right now I'm streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. and we're gonna just see how it goes. So before I get started, let me just do this. Make sure my mic isn't doing what it always does. No, it's not. Okay, that's nice. Normally the gain goes way too high. Okay, so we got some people in here. Welcome everybody. Today it's gonna be a little bit of a different angle on the Q&As. Obviously, you can still ask your questions however you want, but what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be doing Q&As for different platforms. So we're gonna start this one with Squarespace, and I'm just going to basically answer questions about Squarespace in terms of SEO, and then I'll probably do another one of these in the near future talking about other platforms as well. And the reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of other platforms don't really get talked about in terms of SEO, at least on YouTube. So I'm just going to cover those. So again, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. And that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. Everybody can already got some questions. Cool. All right, so let's go to the first one. Okay, just making sure this thing's on. Okay, so somebody asked how to optimize SEO with index pages for Squarespace. Hey guys, I've just learned to optimize the page title, description, and URL slug for SEO purposes. Now I have several pages within an index page. Should I do all the above for each of the individual pages or just overarching page itself? Somebody said, I do it for each of the pages since those will be available on their own URL address. So the question is because in Squarespace, you can actually add multiple pages to one index page and basically show those pages within one page. Now, the problem is if you have one giant page with a bunch of content that's going to be on other pages, you don't want that to be the same. So in terms of optimizing, doing SEO for the main index page, you're probably going to want to choose whether or not you want to show that main page or the other pages. So for instance, if you want to rank that one main page, then you just need to do SEO for that main page that has all of the subpages in it. If you want to rank for all of the other pages, you want to make sure that you're optimizing those and not that other page. And in any case, you need to put a no index tag on the pages that are going to count as duplicate content. So again, you either have one giant page with a no index tag, so the other pages can show and you're going to optimize those, or you're going to have the other pages show, or sorry, you're going to have the one main page show without a no index tag, and then you're going to put no index tags on all the other ones, or you're going to actually, put a canonical tag on the other pages to say that those pages are about that main page. So the way you use a canonical is you, no index tag for the big page, because you're not going to be able to put one canonical to 5 different pages. If you have 5 different pages, instead of using a canonical tag or no index tag, you're going to put a canonical. So the difference is, the reason why you'd put a no index tag on the one main page is because, again, you can't put a canonical to all 5 different pages saying that that page is about 5 other pages, but you can use the canonical tag to say that the 5 other pages are about that one main page. So again, the way you do that, it's very simple. Just type in no index tag, HTML, and you can just copy that HTML into the advanced section of the Squarespace site. I'll just show you how to do that. So you would go here, grab your no index tag here. There it is. Go to sites. I'm going to go into here. Okay, and then you're going to go into your page that you want to no index. Just say it's this page, press the settings wheel, go to advanced, and then you would just inject the code into there. And then the same thing with the canonical. If you want a canonical tag, instead of looking up the code, you can just go to chaserunner.com, view page source, and then type in canonical. There it is, and then you can just change this to your link. You just go like that, and then again, you would change this to the link that is going to be the page that you want to rank. Cool. So not too difficult. But again, you don't want to have duplicate content ranking on your site like that. All right, first question done. Probably just do this just in case, put that on there. How long ago was that? That was 2017, okay. Question 1. All right, got a bunch of other questions. Let me just start adding these in here so I don't forget the order. One from Facebook as well. All right. Can you give me some SEO tips for classified sites? Because I have one. I'm not really sure what you mean by classified. Samuk says, what do you recommend for targeting a low competition keyword for local lead generation? Wording on that. So we have a question from Samuk. He says, what do you recommend for targeting a low competition keyword for local lead generation? Brand new EMD or keyword rich, less spammy, and average TF, CF expired domain? So I don't really use expired domains or those other metrics like trust flow or citation flow. The thing I would probably recommend if you're going to be targeting something locally would be to use probably some sort of exact match domain and go for, you know, that's probably what I would do. I would go for that and then try to get that out of the sandbox as fast as possible by creating citations, social signals, making sure your site's indexed on Google by submitting it through Search Console, submitting your sitemap. Geez, the cats in my room are going in. And then building out content locally, and then hopefully also a little bit nationally, starting a content game plan as well around that. But yeah, I don't use EMDs. I know some people do that. I just would rather use a domain that I know doesn't really have a lot of history on it, just for the reason that I don't really need to use EMDs to rank. All of the sites that I've been able to rank within like a month or even under a month locally have been with brand new domains. So all right, I'll leave that. Sidar says, how to optimize Google My Business page for search terms near me, around me. So I think a lot of that has to do with creating on-page signals. So creating content around, well, also has to do with authority. Here, let me just talk about that a little bit. So we have a question from Sidar. He says, how to optimize Google My Business page for search terms near me and around me. So again, I think a lot of this has to do with on-page signals. It also has to do with trust and authority. I think the more you your business is trusted from reviews, from consistent citations, from on-page signals, even by building authority through national content, you're gonna more likely show up for near me searches. Also, of course, having that business next to the searcher, proximity is going to be tremendously helpful in showing up for near me type searches. But again, if you want to rank as much as you can in a county that you're in, or like a major area, the best way to do it, I think, is by again doing massive review generation, making sure your citations are consistent and authoritative, creating on-page signals through your different services that people might be searching near them, and then also creating some sort of national content marketing streamline for your business. All right. Have you made red circle? Suggest some websites to maintain and measure the performance of client's website. I want to add a record for each and every update work of each client. We have another question from Sadar. He says, suggest me some websites to maintain and measure the performance of clients' website. I want to add a record for each and every update work of each client. So for measuring the performance, I mean, I usually just use Search Console and analytics. I don't do keyword tracking, and I don't really use any other third-party websites. If you want to see a tutorial I've done on that, just Google Chase Reiner reporting tutorial, and you'll find it on YouTube. In terms of adding a record for each and every update work of each client, I use a changelog within Google Drive just to keep track of what's going on with all my different clients, and also people who are doing implementations for my company. I make sure that they keep a track of what they're doing as well. I also do something called benchmarking. So I actually, in Google Analytics, mark all of the pages that are ranking. I'm not doing it on this specific roadmap right there, but I'm doing it for some other clients. I'll show you here. So I try to always optimize based off data rather than, things that I can't necessarily tell you or for sure or not. So what that means is like we benchmark the different pages on the site, and all that is just taking, a look at their Search Console metrics, their analytics metrics, and then also the software I have called Benchmarketer, which looks at all of their averages and compares them to the averages of the top 20 pages performing on Google. And then anything that is, something that they're at a deficit at, we're just going to go and optimize those things and leave notes saying what we did to optimize those things. So yeah, again, we use sort of a changelog system and just, leave notes with what we're doing for these different pages so we can see what led to what. The next one. Better to have Google Map embed or use Google Map API key? Okay. So we have a question from NS saying, is it better to have Google Map embed or use Google Map API key? Like Divi have the option to enter API key to display Google Map. I think if you mean like in terms of, is it a ranking factor to have the API key integration versus just a Google Map embed? I probably wouldn't read that much into it. Honestly, like, I think both of them are going to be helpful to your SEO, especially if you're trying to rank locally. In terms of the API key mattering, I don't think it does. I think if you just put a map on your website that works and, works with Google, I think that's going to be pretty solid. And how you implement that, I don't think really matters unless one of them, maybe increases the load time a lot more than the other. But again, I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. So Movies World wants to know how I was able to get a red circle radius around my Google My Business. So if you don't know what he's talking about, basically if you Google Chase Reiner, you'll see I have like a service in this like target area, like this red radius. The way you do that is just go into Google My Business, and instead of saying that you serve customers at your location, you just say you serve customers within a certain proximity, and then you can choose the different locations that you serve them at, and then that's how you'll get that. At one point, I even had this going out to like all of North America. It was pretty funny. All right. Next one. My website is 20 days old and I'm ranking already 4 to 7. 14th to 17th position in the SERPs for my main keyword. I have a few social profiles set up, more of a waiting game now. What's your view on improvement? What should be done to move? So that's too vague of a question, to be honest, man. Like you need to I can't tell you because I don't know your niche. I don't know, what you are specifically doing for that site. I don't know what your audience looks like. So there isn't really a one size fits all answer for how long does it take to rank in any niche. Okay, I'm gonna go to some of the subscriber questions now. Okay. Go past some of these because some of these aren't questions. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, so we have a question from Mohammed. He says, "Hi, hope you are fine and enjoy your life. I am following from you from a long time and learned a lot from you. Your strategies are amazing and you two are also amazing." Thanks. But I have a few questions that still stops me. You're always talking about content is king, but the problem here is how I make this type of content. Can you please share your method or at least some types of tips on how to create killer content? 1, how do you research before writing content? 2, what things do you keep in mind during while you write content? 3, how to start and make good content flow? 4, how to make a long content, how to find a topic to write? And 5, the last thing is how long it must be. Okay, so you're just talking about like how to like make good content in general, right? Like just from a general aspect. So in terms of the research I do, keyword research, I would recommend you check out one of my tutorials that I do around keyword research. If you just Google or YouTube search keyword research Chase Reiner, you'll find how I do that. In terms of the things that I keep in mind during written content, the biggest things is figuring out what sort of intent people are using to find that content. So if, for instance, a bunch of things are ranking around, let's say, tips for a certain subject, and you want to rank for a product page for that, but a lot of blog posts are ranking for that thing instead, I would try to figure out, how to, make that the thing that you're ranking, not just like a product page if that's the only thing you're focused on. So again, it's more important to try to figure out what to rank based on what other people are ranking versus just trying to rank for something that you want to rank for because there's a high search rate. In terms of how to make a good content flow, how to make long content, stuff like that, I think the biggest thing is figuring out, how are you going to streamline your content so that you're not spending too much time on it, but at the same time, building quality content that people want to read. I think, again, it really depends on what intent you're trying to serve, what type of content's already out there. For instance, like I'm doing some tutorials right now on Squarespace SEO on YouTube because I know that there isn't already a lot of information out there on that. So I don't really have to create as much of a, really insane article because anything is better than nothing at this point. So again, it's more important to figure out how you can hit what the market wants without, overextending yourself and wasting time. but at the same time, something that you can streamline without it being under what the market wants, right? So that it's just complete junk. And how you figure that out, it's going to be up to you. You know, there's different ways you can do it. You can do expert roundups. You can do YouTube videos. You can do transcriptions. You can do, repurpose content. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. But at the end of the day, you got to figure out what works for you, what's going to work in your industry, and sort of a long-term game plan on who's going to be able to do that stuff at an affordable price and a budget that you can afford, because you're obviously not going to be able to do everything yourself. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, we got some more questions in the chat. Put this in here so I don't forget. Okay. All right. Our next question is from Wadude. He says, how should we be structuring pillar pages versus home pages? For example, if our keyword for the pillar page is landscaping in Chicago, what keywords would we use and place in the title and meta description, etc.? So by pillar page, I'm assuming you mean like cornerstone or like skyscraper or whatever you want to call it, like the main content you're trying to rank on the site. The most valuable content is what you're saying. So if that's the case, how would you structure pillar content versus home pages? Actually, I'm going to wait for you to respond to that before I get into that. For example, if our keyword for the pillar page is landscaping in Chicago, what keywords we use and place in the title and meta? So the biggest thing is that if you are creating this pillar type content, if this is what we're actually talking about, you need to make sure that you're not cannibalizing like a home page or another page with that content. So that would be the first thing I would recommend, is for your titles and meta descriptions. Again, you want to make sure that you're mapping out what keywords need to rank on your site. So I always, on my sites, create some sort of keyword map so we can see, what content's already there and what content isn't already there. And then what you do is you take the content that's already there, and then you map the keywords out to it so you know which keyword needs to rank for what, and that you don't have multiple pages trying to rank for separate things. And then you take the keywords that aren't there or the pages that aren't there, and then you figure out what type of content you need to build out for the content that isn't there. So to answer your question around the keywords and meta descriptions, they're basically just going to be what the keywords are that you're targeting for that content. What dude says, these are service pages, not blog posts. We'll talk about landscaping and the services we offer. Yeah, so any of these different service pages, again, you don't want to cannibalize the home page with another service page. So the home page is generally your most valuable general keyword, and then your service pages are generally your longer tail or related keywords to the main keyword, which is usually, target niche in target city, and then the service pages are going to be, or subtopic from target niche in target city, right? All right. Nicholas says, I have clothing classified ads website. It is only for my country, not worldwide. Any SEO tips for better ranking because my website is new at Google? I mean, if I were you, I would just go take the 10-part course I made on this, because again, this question is really general. Any SEO tips for ranking a website? That's just, I have 700 videos on YouTube, so You need to be a little bit more specific with your questions. I'm sorry, I can't, answer something that general. The Furman UK says, if I copy a blog spot to Reddit or blog post to Reddit, will it affect my ranking negatively? Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, so the Furman UK says, if I copy a blog post to Reddit, will it affect my ranking negatively? Duplicate content. Okay, so this is a good question. The biggest thing you need to make sure you do is, if you are going to be copying a blog post or any content from somewhere else to Reddit, make sure it's already indexed. At that point, you can repurpose the content as much as you want to like LinkedIn, to Reddit, wherever you want. And, this is actually really helpful to do. I made a, blog post before about, a checklist I made that was already on my site. And I just put it on, Reddit, and I wound up getting, over like 5,000 views on that post. So yeah, totally fine to do as long as the page is already indexed, because otherwise Reddit's going to end up ranking instead of you, and all your hard work's going to be on, different platform, unless that's how you want to rank, right? That's another strategy in itself, and it's called parasite SEO. So, all right. I'm going to skip the how to increase page authority. Actually, screw it. I'll do it. I hate answering these questions, but I'll do it. Not because I don't think it's a valuable question. I just get asked it all the time. Okay, so Nagrock says, how to, easy way to increase page authority and domain authority. So obviously one of the ways is just to build links to your site. That's not how I do it. My favorite way of doing it is through content and through internal linking, and building out natural authority. So again, page authority and domain authority are link based. So if you take a bunch of links on your site or a bunch of pages on your site and internal link back to other pages, it's going to increase both of those metrics. That's generally how I do it. I build out a bunch of content, I internal link to my valuable pages, and then I up the page authority based on those other pages, which also helps the domain authority. How do you go about getting clients? There's a question from that one guy. He says, how do you go about getting clients when you're starting out? So when I started, I was doing a lot of manual stuff. I was going out and doing cold calling. I was walking into people's businesses. I was doing meetup groups. All that stuff works, right? The thing is, with all that stuff, it's very manual, and anything that you're doing, whether it's client generation, whether it's content, whether it's anything that you're doing, you want to figure out a way to streamline it. And the thing is, like with getting clients, the best way you can get clients is through building content and doing it in a way where people are seeing your content and you don't actually have to go and outreach to them. They outreach to you. Now, the way you do that, again, is up to you. You can streamline content on Facebook. You can do it through ads. You can do it through YouTube. You can do it through Google. That's kind of up to you to find out how to do what works best for you. Because again, at the end of the day, if there's 1,000 people posting on Facebook ads, the chances of you going and doing an ad about, getting SEO clients, if the market's too saturated over there, it's be a lot harder. It's the reason why I started my YouTube channel back when I did, was because nobody was doing SEO tutorials. So I found a opportunity for myself there. But again, for finding clients or getting clients, you need to figure out what sort of vulnerability is in the market, or at least start trying out different methods of building out content and streamlining that in a consistent way where you can consistently put yourself in front of people. Because again, most people aren't going to buy the first time they see you. They're going to buy after like the third or fourth time they see you. So the more you can remarket to people, if you can do like Facebook Pixel, or remarketing through Google, It doesn't really matter as long as you can consistently show yourself multiple times to people for what you do, then you're going to be more likely to get them to buy from you. That would be my biggest tip. In terms of actually selling and stuff like that, I have a course built around how to do that. It's my How to Get SEO Clients course. I recommend you go check it out. It's on my website, just chasereiner.com, and then you can go check out the course. But yeah, the biggest thing I think is, being consistent about how often you're being seen on a certain niche or certain market or certain platform, and really hammering down on that so people will, continually see you as much as possible. Right side of my speaker is muted. Can you fix it? Hopefully that's not because of me. Is it? Oh, I feel like it's for me too. What the heck? Why can I only hear on the right side of my speaker? That's so weird. Properties, microphone. Oh gosh, if that's gonna happen on all my videos, I'm gonna be so bummed. No, I hear it on both sides. It seems like it's louder on my left side for some reason. Is that happening to any of you other guys? Anybody else? That's so weird. How can you start with offline SEO? I don't think SEO goes offline. Can you make video tutorial on how to make best ad or remarketing? Maybe at some point, yeah. I don't do a lot of videos anymore besides the courses I do. A lot of the videos I do now are like these Q&As because it's so much easier just to answer questions. Okay, let's go to this one. Vitaly says, oh, actually, no, that one. How to rank without using keywords in on page. Is there any way for this? Rank without using keywords? Why would you want to do that? Okay, so somebody asked me, or sorry. Okay, so Movies World said, do you count citations into backlinks? And a lot of people ask me this. They go, well, you say you don't do link building, but citation's a backlink, right? And that's true. I definitely, consider that. But citations to me are something that are sort of just a requirement for a site in general. So I'm not really actually manually doing backlink building, and it's not like I'm going out and asking people for links or any of that kind of stuff. So yes, one of the few exceptions I make in terms of what I do for link building is I do citations and I do internal link building, right? So that still is a form of link building. And I also do link building in the sense that I attract links organically, but I don't do link building. And then people are saying, oh, well, Chase, you say that you rank without links. And I never say that I rank without links. I just say that I rank without link building. So I don't go out and build links manually, but some of my pages rank because of links. It doesn't mean that I always say this. I'm not saying that links aren't important. They're a ranking factor. I just don't spend my time building them. I hope that clears some of the confusion for people who've been asking me those questions. Link building itself is known as getting inbound links from other websites. How do you say you rank without link building? Okay, so Movies World says, Chase Reiner, whoops. Let me just redo that. So Movies World says, at Chase Reiner, link building itself is known as getting inbound links from other websites. How do you say you rank without link building? Can you put some more light on this? Might be I am doing wrong SEO for years. I know that homepage has more authority in internal pages with less competitive keywords, or sometimes more competitive, depends upon other websites and your site too, how they are siloed, and more relevance links were built in which the internal pages usually rank, but it is the link juice which makes them rank. Okay, so I think a common misconception is that you have to have link juice, or you have to have page authority, you have to have whatever metric to rank for a keyword. I strongly disagree with this. I've been able to rank on the first page for things like white hat SEO, like that exact keyword or that key phrase, without building any links, without any links hitting that page. There's links hitting the page now, so don't go and look at it and be like, well, there's links on it right now. When I first built the page, it was ranking without any links. And I've been able to rank for other competitive terms without doing link building, right? Relevancy is also a very strong ranking factor. And, you don't have to have links to rank. I know some of you will disagree with me and they'll say, well, if you're in a really competitive market, you have to have links, right? And that may be the case that with some keywords, content alone is not going to let you rank number one, but there are other factors that can come into play, like referral traffic, social, site architecture, content silos, internal linking. There's a ton of other things that you can control that doesn't just have to do with link building on assets that you don't control. That's my main concern with link building. I know people ask me all these questions about link building, why I don't do it. I don't like building assets on other people's properties because those are liabilities to me because I don't control them. So I try to put as much control as I can into what I do have control over. And again, even though, for instance, I'm not going to be able to rank for SEO, just that keyword right now, I know that within time, I'll probably be able to bring in just as much traffic as that keyword will bring in by doing all the other stuff I'm doing, by streamlining content on social networks, by streamlining content on Google, by doing all the stuff that I'm doing, which is revolved around marketing and making money, not just ranking for a keyword, right? Ranking for a keyword is really arbitrary, and it's, although something that I know a lot of people are concerned about, it's one small, tiny picture in comparison to all the other things that you can do for marketing, especially if you have a budget that you can spend money on content and things that are going to help build out your brand under things that you control rather than just going out and link building. Now, again, if you have somebody who can streamline referral traffic to you from links, like you can get mentioned on huge websites, and that also leads into increasing your page authority or whatever, that's totally fine. That's great. I totally am all for that. And even now I'm looking for people to help do PR for me for getting me on huge websites, but it's not because I'm looking for a link. It's because I'm looking for referral traffic. And then, if indirectly I rank because, or help get ranked because of those links, that's fine, but I'm not trying to build things that I don't necessarily control. So there we go. How long does it take a new website to start ranking? Just put this in here. Okay, so Hekadoth says, not sure if this is answered, but how long does it usually take for a new website to start ranking for search terms without any link building, just through articles? I'm presuming 2 to 6 months. In terms of like a brand new site getting out of the sandbox, which is like the little thing that Google likes to put you in for new sites and not show anything on your website, I've been able to get out of it in a couple days without doing link building. And I'm not sure even if links are going to help you get out of the sandbox. They might. But for just ranking in general, I've been able to rank new pages on a new domain with under a month, like #1 for local terms. And then I've also had domains that have been older, like 2 to 3 years, and I put out a page and then the post didn't rank till like 6 months later. So it really just depends on a lot of factors that we don't really know. For instance, like what Google's currently doing with their algorithm, if they're doing updates, if that certain type of niche is more competitive or not competitive, or if Google has certain algorithms around that type of niche, like Google's more has a different type of algorithm for something called Your Money, Your Life, meaning like health niche, or anything around like doctor-based questions, stuff like that. So there's all these different things that come into play. I don't necessarily think that the domain age is going to help you determine whether or not a post is going to rank, as much as the actual relevancy, the saturation of that niche, the relevancy of the content, the saturation of that niche, and then also what you're currently doing for content in general, in terms of how you're streamlining the content, topical content styles you're making, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's very up in the air. That's why nobody can guarantee rankings, and nobody should be able to say, oh yeah, this one keyword you're going to rank 2 to 6 months. Which is why I try not to focus on keywords themselves. Keywords are very arbitrary metrics that should not be used as a way to see ROI. You should use conversions and traffic and things that you can continually reproduce as ROI-based signals, not just like a keyword, because those are very, very unstable. The question from Kaiven, they said, hello, how do you get your news blog Google News approved? I read about this a little while ago. I don't know if this is still how it works, but apparently in order to get your news listed, or your blog that is news-based listed in the news section of Google, you have to be really consistent with the news you produce. So, continually posting news, I think almost every day. Again, I'm not exactly sure about the process, but this is what I read. Also making sure that you are not posting like fake news, that you're also using schema markup, news markup on your articles, and that hopefully you also have an architecture that's related to date-based URLs. So like, for instance, youtube.com/SEO, /news/SEO/ 12 20 2017, whatever. But yeah, I think the biggest thing around getting your news site approved in Google, I think you have to consistently post news articles that are real news with schema markup, with the correct URL structure. And then I also think I'm pretty sure you can submit site to Google News, and then they can approve it. Yeah, open the Google News Publisher Center, use Search Console to verify ownership of news site, click request inclusion in news index. But yeah, I think some of the things that they're going to look out for in terms of their review is, again, how consistent you are with the publishing, how long your site's been around, and all that other stuff we were talking about. All right. But he said, how do you cannot believe in link building? Not that I don't believe. I just don't spend time doing it. Um, I'm just going through these really quick. Get paid to walk. Voice search. This guy just commented. If doing uncitations, what's your favorite auto form filler? Amazing. Would you be interested? Okay, so I think a lot of these other ones have been answered. What's the best way to market my new book? Physically, prefer free or low cost. Okay. So the question today is from Madarich. Okay, I can't pronounce it. Sorry, but they said, "Hey Chase, I hope you see this. I love your SEO videos and have been watching for some time now. I watch your social media guides, like the one on Twitter was golden. My question to you is, what is the best way to market my new book? Physical, preferably free or low cost to do, due to lack of budget. As always, thank you." So I would say, in terms of what I know and how I would probably market a book, would be to do something similar to what I do with my courses. You want to share as much free content around that thing that you're selling as possible, and then take that thing that you are selling and put that as the solution. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to sell a book about marketing. And let's say it's for people who are between 25 to 30 and they don't have any budget, right? So what you could do is you could start making a huge video series or blog series or whatever series. The point is that you're going to be consistently creating content around that subject as much as possible. One of the reasons why I'm able to get a bunch of clients for my courses, for my agency, and so on around SEO is because, again, all of my content, most of my content is around SEO type stuff. So when I get people finally to the assets that I control, like let's say a YouTube subscriber, I get them to a Facebook group, or I get them to an email newsletter. Now I'm able to go and market what I'm selling to them, the final thing that I'm selling, not just the information, right? Because the first thing you're giving away is the free thing, right? You're giving away a free video, you're giving away free blog post, whatever it is. But the point is you have to get people to go to your stuff for free first, because that's how you're going to be able to capture them in some sort of asset and then remarket to them. Because again, most people aren't going to buy from you until they see your stuff multiple times and they, get to like you as a personality and start to follow you because they want to learn more about what you know, versus just you putting out a book or a direct sales page and then selling directly to that person. Another great way to do this, if you're doing ads, is you can do like some sort of Facebook ad where you can actually do a video, and if over 50% of people, or sorry, if you get over 50% viewer retention or 75% viewer retention on the videos, you can remarket to those people who have that viewer retention, and meaning that they watched your video, they got value from it, and then sell the book to them. So, you have a bunch of different ways to do this, but the biggest thing is being consistent about how you're putting out content, how you're remarketing to people, and the sort of angle you want to figure out around there. Okay. One more question. Why Facebook reach is too low as compared to Instagram, and how to improve it? Um, why is Facebook reach too low? You mean it? You mean in like the organic reach, Kyvan? Do you use UPS or virtual address? I don't. I use usual. I use actual addresses. I don't use either of those. They're too much of a liability. Also, I just got my verification letter from Google to confirm my Google My Business. What are some tips you can give to optimize the listing? In your course, you mentioned responding to reviews. I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back, and then I'll answer that question. All right. Sorry about that. I'm back. Where were we? um. So I got a question from Hekadoth. He says, also, I just got my verification letter from Google to confirm my Google My Business. What are some tips you can give to optimize the listing? In your course, you mentioned responding to reviews. So biggest things, again, streamlining review generation, making sure that your citations are built for that address, making sure that you are pointing the Google My Business to the correct page on your website that it should be ranking for. If it's one of many different Google My Business locations, you want to make sure that you're not pointing those all to the same homepage. You want to make sure that you're making different location landing pages for those different Google My Businesses. Making sure that you're not using spammy titles. So if your business is, let's say, SEO in Target Town, that's totally fine to put that in the title. But if it's not that and you're using like, let's say your SEO company is called First Page SEO and you're putting like First Page SEO, rank higher in target location, you're going to get your business probably flagged. And then also, you're probably not going to have a very consistent NAP across different indexing platforms, because then you're going to have to put that on every single one of them. Another thing is the categories, making sure you're choosing the correct categories for your business. The way you do that is you just go and look at and see what other categories are already ranking on Google, and then go and make your category the similar thing that other people are already ranking with. Some other things are pictures, making sure you're utilizing the correct file URLs, making sure you have 3 service photos, 3 inside location, 3 outside, and this is just a minimum. You can put more than that. 3 pictures of services you offer, or teammates, that kind of thing. You can also get the virtual tour for your business. That's supposed to really help with your rankings if you want to pay for that. Some of the other things are using like Google Post feature, using answering questions on your Google My Business. So all that kind of stuff is supposed to help, but that's not the only thing that's actually going to help rank your Google My Business. Some other things are on-page signals, schema markup for local business, and then also creating an authoritative website that answers a bunch of questions around the thing that you're offering. So different service pages, even perhaps different local location pages, and then also national based content where you're answering questions around your target niche as well. That can even help you rank locally and perhaps even with Google My Business. So I hope those tips are helpful to you. He has his own office. Yes. If you work from home, what's the best thing to do for an address for directories, virtual address? The best thing to do is just to put an ad out on Craigslist and offer somebody $50 to get a verified address by sending them a service area recommendation or a verification letter. I'm not sure about Yelp or Yellow Pages. Yeah, some of those, you're gonna be able to, if you can't hide the address, then, you have to choose whether or not, you want to show somebody's address. If you can't show the address, then you can't have those other platforms. But I think on Yelp, you can you can hide the address. And a lot of the other platforms, people don't actually go on, like Hot Frog and stuff, so you don't really have to worry about showing addresses on those. Hey, Chase, I hope you see... Oh, I already got that. Just trying to find some more of these. Okay, so this stream has been going on for a while. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna get some breakfast. I was supposed to answer a bunch of questions around Squarespace, but I guess I'll do that at a different time. So thank you all guys, everybody, for stopping by, and until I see y'all next time, have